Testing. Hello. Hello, everyone. Welcome and thank you. Thank you so much for your patience. Yeah, everybody is excited to talk. So that's part of the thing too. So we are running a little bit late. I apologize. There was just some technical thing. So what is it? Speak up. Okay. Okay. Good. Is everyone good? I just had to get my clicker to work because my machine is at the back. So, okay. So first of all, welcome everybody. We're officially starting this meetup tonight. And tonight we're happy to have AI Collective Chicago and then also the Chicago Java Users Group to come together and jointly hosting this event. And also, the most important of all is that Capital One is very generous with sponsoring this very beautiful facility as well as the nice food too. So thank you all for coming, and I appreciate your patience with us, and then also with folks on the stream too. I think there are some folks here. So just want to kind of quickly go over a few things before we start, and let's go. So this is the agenda. We already spent more than 30 minutes on the social networking and just some welcome and all of these things, eating the food. So hope you enjoyed that. And now we're just going to go through quickly some housekeeping and then also a word from our sponsor. So basically it's the Capital One. So maybe Mariano, you can say a few words too. And then we'll begin the presentation. So tonight is a bit more of a technical presentation. As you know, AI Collective, we're a mixture. We can have tech, we can have product, all kinds, right? Different flavors of the event. But tonight is a technical presentation. We'll be having very honored to have Max Kanat-Alexander. He's the distinguished engineer at Capital One. He'll be presenting a topic on developer experience and using AI coding agents. And then we'll have very special guests from Brazil, Bruno Souza, and you might have already spoken to him. He's a well-known Java advocate since like the days before actually during Sun Microsystems when he joined, and then he's been very closely tied or supporting the Java community, as some of you may know too. And then also with him is Luis. Luis is over there, and Luis is also from Brazil. He runs the Java, which is like the biggest Java user group on earth. I think you guys have like 8,000 people, something, right? Because the rest of us are maybe 1,000, 2,000, but they've got like couple thousand people very active. So Java, as well as Luis is also helping out the AI Collective in Sao Paulo, the chapter 2. They are also having some events that he can share with you if you happen to be going to Sao Paulo. Okay, so that's that. And then we also have one more presentations, kind of encore presentation by Ankith Jain. He's an engineer at Capital One. So he's going to talk about MCP and Spring AI too. Then after that, we'll have a little bit of time for you to socialize as well. So that's the agenda. And let me move forward. But before that, we want to say a big thank you to Capital One. So if Mariano or John, if you'd like to say a few words about Capital One. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mary. We're very, very happy to have you all here, folks. I think it's the first event that we are hosting here at Capital One after COVID. So it's been a long time and good to see this amount of people that decided to come here today. And we have an amazing lineup today. So hope you guys enjoy it. And thank you, Mary, for putting all this together.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Mariano. Yeah. And I want to thank John as well. John is from the Discover division now, right? And so, yeah, that's how we get hooked up too, because we hosted Chicago Java Users Group hosted at Discover in October. So we're here again. So thank you so much. It's bigger and better. And also wanted to mention our community partner, the Chicago Java Users Group. Actually, let me also ask how many of you actually are joining from the Java Users Group? I'm wondering too. So Oh, quite a few of you. So thank you. 50, yeah, thank you. Thank you all for coming. And I also hope that for AI Collective folks, yeah, don't be intimidated, because I understand sometimes that's what I heard. They're like, Java, we don't do Java, but it's not, really with AI, it really doesn't matter what you write in, right? It's just the AI is another subject matter. I guess we're all tackling at the same time. So here we have Java Users Group, and I've been helping the Java Users Group in Chicago since 2015. So, and Mariano's been a loyal supporter as well for a long time. So we've known each other since back then too. So, and then I think a couple of you as well in the audience too, who actually have been a long-time Java Users Group supporter. I wanted to acknowledge, yeah, Tom, and yes, and Young, your name, right? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so thank you all for coming. Yeah, and I think I recognize a couple of ladies too. Yeah, I've seen you, but you're too shy to put out your hands. But thank you. Okay. And just okay, so just now turn to a bit about AI Collective. Yeah, we have like 3 years of impact now. We started in 2023. It's in San Francisco. It is a think tank, nonprofit organization. So as such, we have technology track and product track and startup founders, investors, and education. You name it. There are also all kinds of people, all walks of life joining, because we do believe in, with the AI, the way it's going, it's actually best to come together as a community and discuss and understand, where things are. There's been a lot of confusion. So, and it's not just for technology people. So we like to kind of bring all the communities together. And as you can see right now, we're all over the world. We have expanded in all continents except for the Antarctica. Everywhere you can find, right? Asia Pacific and Europe, Middle East too, and yeah, Africa, South America, Central America, North America. So we have over 207,000 members now, and actually it keeps growing. So as you can see, these are just some of the stats too, and there are about 10% founders and also the investors. We hope to also attract more and also have demo nights too. If some of you are interested in demo nights, I think those tend to attract a lot of attention, because all of the founders come in and do some short 5 minutes pitch and kind of exchange ideas. So those are great events. So if you're interested, please consider joining us and watch out for those too. So okay, so that's that, and we have a lot of events all over the world. And this is like a map too that describe it. And as you can see, it's scattered everywhere now. So it's unfortunate right now we are not in Russia, or somebody from, welcome to our member from Belarus too. Yeah, unfortunately we cannot expand to there yet. So hopefully, yeah, one day. So what this means for you is that it just means a lot of community coming together, sharing knowledge and helping one another out. And we are bringing out like the human layers. It's basically human in AI, and that's what we're doing. Okay. And so if you want to join the community, you can go to the website, it's aicollective.com, and then you can find to the chapter information and ways of joining, filling out all the forms too. If you have questions, you can always reach out to us as well. And then also the QR code in there. So okay, so let me go to the next thing. And today's we have a live stream, and some of you may be already on the live stream, but you can also, if you have friends that are wanting to join from remote virtually, it's on YouTube, it's on the AI Collective channel, and the direct link is over there. So I can share this slide deck with you too. And I want to thank Chehu for helping us with the audio visual. Thank you so much. So, okay. And here, to just quickly, the Chicago chapter team and volunteers as well. Um, and then we have some new team members too. I think tonight Yukta is here too from the group, the newest member. Okay. And I just want to kind of point out some upcoming events too. AI Collective on April 1st, we're going to have probably run is an AI Collective global level. We're doing an open claw event too. If you're interested, it's primarily educational. It's not about hacking or anything. So just want to point that out. We'll be sending out more information about that. I know Everett is laughing. Yes, so yeah, that's cool. And how many of you are already working with OpenClaw? I'm kind of curious. Okay, so quite a few. Yeah, so we're just going to be more educational. It's for anybody to join. So I'll be posting that event pretty soon. And then also Microsoft Copilot, also the team is also interested in coming to Chicago. We're still trying to figure out a date, most likely in April. So I'll post that when it's ready. And then for Chicago Java Users Group, we may actually, it depends on the topic, Confluent. So that's Apache Kafka. They are also coming too. They want to come in mid-May. And actually, it's Victor, the developer advocate, and he has topics to talk about data and with AI as well. So we may most likely make it more AI and friendly too, so then we can also pull both communities together. So that's the plan. So. Okay, so some external events I want to share with you. They have community discount. First of all, the Arc of AI. This one is run by Dr. Venkat, and I think a lot of you from the Java community knows him, and he's well-known Java community. So he has this raffle. So every month, and actually before the 15th, he's going to run a raffle for a free ticket for our community. So if you'd like to enter into that raffle and get a free ticket to attend the event, that's the link. And again, I can share this slide deck with you, so you don't need to like kind of copy it by hand too. So, and then also another thing is if you don't get in but you still want to go, there's a $50 discount code Chicago_JUG, and you can register at the event at arcofai.com/register. Okay, and then also wanted to share with you too, in San Francisco, it's coming up actually I didn't print it out here, but it's April 6th to the 9th. Maybe some of you have heard of the HumanX conference. Is really big. It's basically all AI related. If you're working with the schools and companies and vendors, nonprofit, profit alike. So it's a huge event in San Francisco. It's coming up then. And AI Collective will be participating in that. And basically, too, if anybody is interested, but you have to pay for your own travel expense. But if you want to join and help out as a volunteer, there may still be spots available. And I know one gentleman already spoke to me about it. So if you're interested, let me know. I can try to get the free tickets for you too. Okay, and then one more event is basically the UberConf in Denver, Colorado. And if some of you have been to No Fluff Just Stuff, or maybe some of you have already been to UberConf, it is a bit, it started off more with Java, but now also expand to many areas, primarily targeting for coders too and technical folks, but anybody can go to. It's also a very, very good event. It's in Denver in July, 14th to 17th at the Westminster. And there's also actually a link to get the PDF, and inside you can also find more information about getting discount code, all of these things. So if you're interested, let me know. I can send you that PDF, or when I send you this link to the slide deck, you can also get the link from here too. So. Okay, so that's that. And then one more thing to let you know is AI Collective is doing a global event, but it's actually more like a week. It's called Humans in AI Week. So the Chicago chapter have also signed up to have an event, and we haven't decided yet, but it will be June 1st to 1 to 7. So that's the week. So please stay tuned and watch out for that. Or if you have suggestions of what you'd like to see, we always are open to your suggestions too. So. Okay, so if you have any more questions, you can visit us. Again, main site is aicollective.com. And then we have, if you go to /chapters Chicago, and that's our chapter page. Yeah, okay. And that's all. And then, so thank you for your participation, but I'd like to thank you again, thank Capital One again, and also for CJUG for collaborating tonight too. So thank you. Yeah, and now we can have our first speaker, Max. Max will be actually joining from, I think, Virginia, right? And where? Oh, Florida. Okay, yeah, also from the East Coast. So he will be joining, and we'll be displaying that on the screen here. And then after that will be Bruno and Louis too, and then with Ankith. So this is how the schedule goes. So thank you. Thank you.
Uh, my name is. Can everybody hear me? Are we good? Yes. I can't hear you. Right. So start my slides. My name is Max. I am an executive systems engineer at Capital One. Brief history. I have a little bit of stuff in this, so forgive me if I got what I got wrong. A little bit of career history is one time I was teaching architect of a project. We helped like that one of the most popular enterprise systems in the world. Then I went on to Google, where I was the tech lead for Kanat, among other things. Relative to this group, I know the Java platform team at Google for a while. So I helped maintain the JDK and the JVM for Google. And then I went to LinkedIn, where I was the technical lead for the development activity and advocacy. And now I am at Capital One. And I'm one of the technical leads for developer experience at Capital One. And in particular, I help lead our efforts around AI-assisted software development, languages, libraries, and frameworks, and metrics and feedback systems for helping understand developer experience. And today, we're going to talk about AI. Okay, great. So there's a chance that it's before. I'd like to talk at the AI conference. But I might have fun since then, and also very questions. So the last 15 months or so, the field of software engineering has been crazy. Every software engineers every few weeks have been doing like the what's next, this wow. And if you work in developer experience, or if you try to help other engineers with tools, you might feel like these guys every day, you're like handing out some new coding technique. That one or some new tool, or something is all of a sudden everything that happened 2 weeks ago is dead, and now everything is changed, and you got to use the new things. It's like people get pretty excited about this stuff. But what that all adds up to is it makes the future really hard to predict. And so a lot of people are asking themselves, are we wasting all of the current investments that we make into helping developers be more efficient? Is AI going to change everything in some way, such that everything we thought was worthwhile to invest in will no longer be worth investing in? Is there anything? So let me get back to there. So if we get to the end of 2026, what would we look back at and say, wow, I'm sure glad we worked on that for our developers. Is it just coding agents? Is the only thing that I can do is give Claude Code or Codex or Cursor to everybody, and I can't figure out anything else to do, and so and the coding agents will just magically fix everything? Well, let's ask ourselves two questions. What will be valuable no matter what happens? Right? No matter what happens. Because if you can't predict the future, you need to use your understanding of the principles of developer experience and principles of software engineering to know what's always going to be. And then what do we need to fix at all levels? So what do we need to fix in our technology? What do we need to fix across the organization, the company that we work at? And what do we need to fix about individuals? What do we need to help individuals to ensure agents are as effective as they possibly can be? And this is a huge deal right now because, realistically, if you are a software company, especially, this could make or break your success. But even if you're not a company, the importance of software today is such that it can dramatically affect the success of your business. I don't think every business realizes this. People like businesses to just have software departments. They don't quite realize how much the success of their business depends on the success of their software systems, but it will be more and more and more true. We get less true, it's getting more true. So let's just dive right into it. What are the things that we can do? Okay, the first one is in my professional work on a day-to-day basis at a significantly sized
because this is Ankith
because you're fighting the training set a lot of the time when you do that. Like it wants to write Python or it wants to write TypeScript or it wants to write Java, and it doesn't, necessarily like want to write.
these are all
I'm not going to say once you write into obscure languages, it's not everybody's going to know. It's not going to want to write all those other languages. So, but more importantly, because that's not really the problem most companies have. The problem most companies have is that they have invented their own way of doing a thing that already exists in the outside world. They've invented their own Grail instead of just using the Grail wrapper that Grail ships. They've invented their own wrapper around Maven if they use Maven. They've invented their own like slight modification of something that already exists in the JDK. Or they have a style guide that contradicts the open source style guide. And the agent is going to always try to write the code using the open source style. Like you can get it to do otherwise, you can't. But you're fighting the training set when you do that. So you're decreasing agent capability every time. Or like people sometimes like I've seen companies invent their own front end frameworks. Everybody loves to invent front end frameworks. But the model, like, it knows like React and Angular. So like, or other front end frameworks. Like, you should probably use one of those because it knows it. Now, does this mean we'll never ever have new tools? Like, are we just stuck forever with whatever was in the model's training set and whatever was popular at like the end of 2025? Probably not. The models are getting better at using tools that they are familiar with. But also, there's always going to be frontier users, and there's always going to be real reasons to adopt new technology. But I think what will happen is that the bar will raise for those reasons to adopt new technology. Like, if you're like, I want to use this other programming language because I kind of like it and it's a little better, but otherwise all its other characteristics are the same, that will not be as compelling of an argument as it used to be. Because like that won't gain traction, enough traction in the world to like get into the training set to be like a popular thing in the model. But I also made a point. This has always been a problem. I have worked in developer experience for several decades, and there's always somebody who comes into the company and is like, "Can I use this tool that was released a week ago? And can I make it the enterprise standard? And can I make everybody in the company depend on it for the next 10 years?" And I'm like, no, you can't do that. You can absolutely do that at home in your own personal projects or your open source projects or whatever you want to do. I do stuff like that. You cannot do that in a business of any reasonable size. So this is not a new problem. It's just it's just a slightly enhanced version of the problem actually. All right, next one. Yeah. Agents do work on your machine. They don't do work in your CI. I mean, they can. You can run them in your CI, but like while you're working with them, while you are writing code, they need tools that they can use right then. They don't like. There are many companies that have set up their systems such that like all validation happens after you've written like 20 PRs, and then there's like some manual testing pass that everybody goes through and does. And that's just not going to fly. Like for an agent, like it needs a testing tool that it can run right now, like right after it wrote the code. It needs a linter that it can run right after it wrote the code. If it's going to get data, if it needs to like pull your docs. You need to be able to pull your docs right now, right after I wrote the code. You know, I mean, I've heard of companies where people have to like fill out a form in order to spin up a container. Like I have paper. I've heard people have to spin up a paper form in order to spin up a container, and I'm like, well, that's going to be a problem. But specifically, agents need either a CLI or an API, and more, they need like a command line. That's what they usually use best. You just give them a command line tool, has really good help text, uh, and that's how they take action. So if your development environment doesn't operate through a CLI or an API, like it requires developers to go click on buttons in a GUI or to go like ask another human being to do something, that's going to become one of the major barriers to the success of agents in house. Okay, this is maybe the most important. The most important and valuable capability improvement for an agent is to give it objective, deterministic validation. The number one way to improve the capability of any model today is to give it a way to 100% be confident, know that it did the right thing or not do the right thing. And it means like not flaky and reliable. So that's what the second thing includes. That always fails when it should fail and never fails when it shouldn't fail. Which means not just tests, but it means good tests. Tests that like, where like you've thought through like what they should assert and that they don't lock out the universe. Because otherwise they don't fail when they should fail. And they also have to have very clear actionable error messages. So no like giant end-to-end test suite that runs and then just says 500 internal error when it fails. And then like you have to troll through like 10 megabytes of logs to answer the question. That's good. Like that's always a problem for humans. It's also a problem for the agents. So like there needs to be like, it needs to be very clear what it did wrong. But there's a problem with this also. You ever ask an agent to run a test on an untestable code base, like on a code base that was just never designed with testing? The agent does something like this. You give it a black box, it writes a test that says, I push the button, and the button pushed. Looks good to me. So there's another thing that we have to do in order to actually make this work. And there's an even more broad principle that underlies the reasoning for this, which is that agents very broadly work better on well-designed code bases. And in particular, this is the key point that you can reason about just by reading the code. So what a human does when they are presented with an enormously complex code base that they can't reason about by reading it, they try to go ask another coworker, what does this do or how is it supposed to work out? They try to, which the agent can't do. They try to run it to see what it does, or put like debugging statements into it, and then run it to see what it does, or run it through a debug. Which the agent can do, but is much, much, much slower, like multiple orders of magnitude less effective than for it to just look at the code and be able to reason about the code by reading it. So that is probably the most important property of code base for agents. And then which are designed in a testable fashion, so that like, functions return a value that you can determine is right or wrong, and you don't have to put a block into the middle of it and check if like a function was called, because that's not the issue, right? And it's also not the and like one of the problems is the agents are frequently wrong. So if they don't write good tests, or if you don't like ensure that they write good tests, and if they can't write good tests, they aren't just frequently wrong, they're confidently wrong. So you will get output that says, awesome, I did the right thing. It was perfect. Everything went great. And it will say, and all the tests pass. But if the tests are garbage, that doesn't matter. So, next one is, they just can't read your mind. They don't have your tribal knowledge. They need written words. They can read, well, they could use images, but they're much better with text. Text is their native language. So they need but they're very good at reading code. So like they can read your code and be like, oh, this is what it does. I think this is what it does. Rather than it has like even vaguely reasonable naming and structure, which is not true. Um, they can read the code. What they don't know is they don't know what your intention is. They don't know why you wrote it, and they will go off and do the wrong thing. They don't know why you wrote it. And this is just the same as like any other developer who you gave your code base to who wasn't familiar with it in the past. You know, I've always thought of comments in code as explain to somebody else why they shouldn't delete this line. And that is always what gives me the like, okay, I have to explain the rationale for why this is here. And that's been my primary guiding light for comments is explain to somebody else why they shouldn't delete this line of code. But there's also other things that aren't just reasoning or intention. Like, what's the form of data that we expect here? Or like, what is the nature of the data that we expect here? Like, you might have a validator, and then the validator says like, oh, you know, it's a string, it should be 16 characters, it should have this format. So that's a pretty good thing. But if it doesn't know like it's 60 characters and it has this format and it represents an account ID, if it's not named well or something like that. And it needs like it might still the names might need a comment like that. So any context that can't exist in your code needs to be in some sort of written form in your repository, in your repo, not in a wiki, in the repo. All right, next one. So it's always been true, you know, there's always this old adage that you spend more time reading code than writing code. With an agent, you spend almost all your time reading code rather than writing it, even when you're writing it. And also, you know, if you really ramp up on agentic software development, you're going to generate way more PRs to review than anybody's ever generated before. And so there's going to be this huge backlog of reviews to deal with, and you're just going to be drowning in this thing. So what are we going to do about it? People ask me about this one all the time because everybody's worried about the code review. Okay, here's some things you can do right now to speed this up. So one of the most important principles about code review is that you aren't trying to make the whole process go faster. Because it's a quality business. You're not trying to set a time limit on how long it's supposed to take from when a PR is first submitted to when a PR is approved. You know, like if it takes 3 rounds of review to get it to be right, you should do 3 rounds of review. That's fine. What does matter a lot, and I can tell you, so I'm also, I forgot to mention this at the beginning, but I am the author of Google's code review guidelines, and I have done over 15,000 code reviews in my life, and seen many more. The most important thing about code review is that you've got to respond fast. It matters to so many aspects of the process. So each individual response from the reviewer has to be very fast. And when you optimize for that, that's how you get fast code reviews. Also, you need to assign reviews to specific individuals. So some people might not be familiar with this, but in many companies, there's this sort of social disease that occurs. And I think part of it has to do with the fact that GitHub is not like great at like indicating who's supposed to do what when. But or people just like send a PR out into a Slack channel, like out into the void, and are like, please somebody review this. And that is not going to fly because what really happens when you do that is one person does all the code. There's always like one person who's watching the Slack channel that's like super active. And I've seen this in metrics. It's like the numbers are like, you look at the reviews done by the team, and it's like 1, 5, 10, 34, 1. And it's always teams that like dump things into the shit. And the next thing is you make it really clear whose turn it is to take action. So like I need to know immediately when I'm the author, I'm supposed to start working again. I need to know right away. When I'm the reviewer, I'm supposed to review again. I need to do this again. And there's lots of ways to speed up the individual response times to do all these things. Like, you know, like you should have small PRs. Like you have to keep your PRs small somehow, and that is tough. I recognize that with agentic software development, but it's a discipline that you have to like. You still have to keep your PRs like sized to one atomic change, and you know you can learn to stack them and do other things that you would always have done if you were like having high output. But now we're like everybody can have high output. Uh, what's interesting about this, by the way, uh, all of these skills are also relevant while you're working with the agent. So, like, if you make it generate too much all at once, you will have a hard time doing it. And there's interesting things about like the agent iteration loop that you can optimize about like response time and stuff like that. But that's more like if you own an agent or if you have like a lot of capability. So I don't care. It's interesting to think about some of these things also because the job of an agent operator is review a long time. Quality is also super important. You will not solve the problem of agentic software development by lowering the quality bar that you accept. You have to encourage great reviews. You have to be willing to say no to code that doesn't meet your goal. One of the things about code review is it's the only place that I've ever taught junior engineers in my career how to be better at the core fundamentals of software. I found no other way to do that. I can give people career coaching outside of that. Like I can just talk to them about it. I can tell them how to like deal with communication issues. I can help them with their writing. But the core aspects of coding, never done it any other way other than trade. This also means that like the best developers at your company can't spend all their time in meetings. They do have to also be like involved in the software development process and like actually looking at code and getting code. Okay. So what happens if you don't do all the things that I talked about? Well, what happens is you give a bad code base to an AI agent. You pump it through a bunch of rubber stamp. It generates garbage. You pump the garbage through a bunch of low quality reviews. Your code base gets worse. You give it to an AI agent who can even less comprehend and operate on it. And it makes even worse code, which you pump through many low quality reviews, and then your code base gets even worse. And what almost certainly will happen over time is you'll actually get a slowdown. And if you're not seeing the benefit of coding agents in your environment, this explains a lot of the variance that we see between companies today. Is that if you're just, if you're in an environment where people are just, pushing slop into the code base, and then they can't figure out like why they're like they're writing more PRs, but like the company delivery isn't actually happening faster, or like your incident rate is dramatically increasing. This explains it. On the other hand, we've been handed this like incredible opportunity to make better code bases than we've ever had before, and we have an incredible tool to help us do it, which is the coding agent. Like, so you take a code base and you put some attention to quality in it, you improve it a little bit, and then the agent gets more capable. And what that means is the agent is then more capable at helping you make it better. So over time, if you put in all these things, you actually get faster and faster, and the agent gets more and more capable. So not just do you get faster, you actually become more and more able to do things that you never could have done before, which is actually a really cool part about adopting all of these things. So to summarize, here's all the things. 1, standardize your development environments. 2, have CLIs or APIs that you need in development time. 3, improve all of your deterministic validation. I talked a lot about tests, but I mean any validation, anything that stops somebody and says, no, don't do that. Like in my code base where I do agentic software development, my linters are bill of failures. That would be so annoying for a human, but for an agent, it is absolutely necessary. That kind of thing is absolutely necessary. Formatting. There's a test that says you must format the code for various reasons related to the way that the agent works and misbehaves. You don't do that. So like any kind of like any validation, any tool that you could think of, you could put into the lifecycle that you were like, hey, how strict can we possibly be? As strict as you could ever imagine being. That's how strict you should be with the agent. Refactor for testability and the ability to restart code base. Make sure that any external context or intentions are in written form in the repository. And improve the speed of every response or in order to raise the bar for the law. However, there's also a lesson and one principle that we take away from the law. And that is, you'll see a common thread in everything we talk. What's good for humans is good for AI. And what that means is, When we invest in these things, we don't just copy agents. Even if we mix a couple of the agents, we automatically also have what follows the
Yeah, let me get the what you want to. Yeah.
Sorry. Test. There we go. So much. Hey Max, really appreciate the presentation. It was fantastic. How are you dealing with the increased velocity of commits and squashing gits and all that good stuff? Seems to be a little bit of a headache where everyone's working so quickly that things are becoming outdated really quickly.
So there's a lot of answers to this. So is there a particular aspect of the velocity that you're concerned about? Because like the answer to your question is like all of developer experience, like every single part of it.
Yeah. So what we've seen is that we have developers working on let's say large portions of the code base is that things are becoming obsolete from commit to commit or from PR to PR. Which is requiring just a lot of work. We're like 10 extra communication at this point, just to make things work. And it's almost like we're losing the velocity. So, is there any tips that you've seen that help out that issue there?
Yeah, that's the very important after the code barrier is a coordination issue. Nobody has this one perfectly solved yet. Some of it, I feel like there's a few different thoughts that people have. One of them is, should you consider making the size of these individual teams smaller? Two, should you be more willing to accept duplication in order to have greater separation of code bases so that the agents aren't stepping on each other? Uh, and three, I think some people have some ideas about like different sorts of version control, but like that one's a little more pie in the sky. Uh, as far as like, how you would actually do that. But there's no like perfect solution to that. Like that everybody has merge conflicts. Like that one's tough. I talked to people about like some algorithms that we could use to like improve the way that merging works, and I think there's some pretty fun ideas out there that I think I'd like to try out. There's a possibility that there's a different version system in the future that is
Yeah, that sounds really excited. I'll add you on LinkedIn and we'll talk about that pie in the sky stuff. How about that? Cheers.
Hi, thanks again for giving this talk. I think we've all really enjoyed it. My question is kind of related to the review process you mentioned. I know you mentioned like with the agentic workflow loops, reviews are kind of more important than ever. I'm curious, do you think there's a bottleneck in the way that reviews are currently done? I know there's a lot of exploration of alternative platforms to like the GitHub PR review. Like I know Graphite is kind of really popular right now. Uh, and then also, I know you just mentioned with the previous question, like alternative version control systems. Could you touch a little bit more on that? Like, do you think that maybe in the future version control includes like what the developer prompted the agent with, like at each step of development, or could you kind of expand on what you're thinking there?
Yeah. I agree with it is terrible at telling me when it's my turn. Um, and it's okay at like it's also really bad at like showing me what changed since the last time I left comments. As an example, like it's it's good at like the very minimal basics of code. So I think there's a huge opportunity to dramatically improve that product. I do not understand why GitHub did not dramatically invest in that product. I mean, I know because like I have some potential relationships with them, so I understand where their focus was. I don't agree with what their decisions were. So I think there's a tremendous opportunity. I'm really interested to see what happens for the first server. Um, with version control, so once upon a time I was a version controller. Um, and I did a little bit of work on some distributed version control systems that I didn't like. When before Git, there used to be other ones in the world that were better. Uh, and I think so. I think there's two things. One of them is better merge algorithms than we have. So I think that line-based merges are not the way to go. Uh, like if I indent a block of code and you change it, we have very long for a very long time had a system that handles that called CRDTs. If anybody doesn't know what those are, that's how multiple people can edit a code doc at once. Uh, conflict-free replicated data frames. So like there's already like that's a been a solved problem for a really long time. Like I don't know why our version control systems haven't solved it. Um, and then I think there's opportunities to do semantic merging, and I'm even interested in like could we get to a point where we're confident enough in like particular small models that are fast enough to do that they can do semantic merging, or does that need to be remain entirely a deterministic process that understands the thing being merged and can like do semantic merging? Because the agents are not that bad at like fixing merge conflicts. Although if there's like 10 of them simultaneously, we do it. So those are my current sort of abstract thoughts.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, thanks for the presentation. I just had one question about code quality of the code base. Specifically, if you have a bad code base to start with, have you seen opportunities where an agent can make it better? And what are some recommendations you have there?
I can simply make it clear. It just requires more guidance from the human being on how to make it better. Because a lot of the time, what's bad about a bad code base is it doesn't express its full intention. And so, like like bad patterns, like if you like mix a bunch of different responsibilities in the same class, and then if you give it a name that doesn't represent those responsibilities, and the agent is on a hard time figuring that out. But you can tell it, like you can give it very specific instructions that it's going to be great at, even in that situation. Like you can tell it, like, hey, extract these three methods into this class, and then fix every single reference to them with the whole of this, and it'll do that. So, I spent a lot of my career doing legacy software. Like my job, technically, to put on Google meant that I was the company's like internal consultant on how to deal with like legacy code issues that like people couldn't deal with. And so you always like I've given a talk in the past, although it's not publicly available and that I've been in, unfortunately, about how to refactor code bases. Basically, you always start off doing a lot of really stupid things. You start making changes that like look totally just like why would anybody even care about submitting that as a PR? Like rename this variable. Just rename this variable. I can't understand it. Just fix all the names in this. Okay, great. You submit that. Somebody's probably will be like arguing with you, like why are you doing this? Wasting my time. But and then you keep making stupid changes after stupid changes after stupid changes, and then eventually the code base. All that happens is you're like, what's the next thing that I don't understand? Okay, I need to go figure out what that is, and then make that next thing clear. Okay, now now that I've made that thing clear, there's something else that I don't understand. What is that? And almost every single change you write individually will look stupid. And then at the end, you will have a beautiful code base. But when you have a bad code base, it requires those specific instructions. Do this with this piece of code, as opposed to like your higher level intentions that you just want to express in the category.
Hey, this is Amit. I have one observation, or I wanted to know your thoughts on. I see there is a bottleneck on the velocity at which the PRs can be reviewed, right? And the suggestion that which you gave is like to point it to a single developer so that you get like quick reviews. But especially the greenfield development, what I have observed is that the amount of code we are producing have rapidly increased. So even a single developer, if you're pointing it out, there's going to be like a lot of commits, and the problem is like they are not able to do their own work because they're spending a lot of time reviewing AI work, which is at very rapid pace. So should companies be thinking about introducing, since we have AI coding tools writing the code, we should also be investing in reviewing tools like CodeRabbit, or should we still depend on the developers to do the code quality reviews because they have the business domain knowledge better? I just want to know your thoughts on this because the velocity is not happening with the developer reviews right now.
Yeah. So uh, the analytics are a great line of first events. They're really good at being the first responder to a code review, and they can save the reviewer a lot of by like commenting on things that the reviewer never has to see. Like the idea of the hope is that the AI code reviewer responds immediately, the author fixes all of those issues or says they are relevant. And then ideally only then does the human reviewer actually go look at it. And my experience so far is that the AI code reviewer is very good at finding functional issues. So it's very good at like saying you did the wrong thing, this thing is broken. It is not very good at figuring out design problems with your system. It doesn't understand the larger design and the larger like consistency aspects of your system. And so it won't know like this function is in the wrong place, like in the wrong class, things like that. So that still requires human attention. The other thing is, so there's I have a lot of thoughts here. I have so many thoughts here. I can give almost a whole talking about thoughts here. There's a point at which people are generating things faster than they can understand. So there's always, there's always been a problem in the universe. This wasn't very common. A developer who wrote really bad code really fast and then just kept shipping it off to their reviewer, and then their reviewers constantly had to deal with all the bad code that that person kept sending. That was irresponsible of that developer. And that developer needed to talk to, usually. Uh, there are some people in the world who use AI coding agents to ship off a bunch of things that they don't understand. And if you're in that environment, your code reviews are going to be. And so my experience with code review is that there has always been a trust system, that you build up a certain level of trust with certain developers over time, where you don't feel like you need to be as thorough with their reviews as you do with others. And if you have a person who is doing a very good job with their coding agent and really making sure that the product is great, that they send you for review, then you will hopefully grow that trust over time. And if you're not growing that trust over time, that's a mentorship opportunity for that other engineer. Because nothing inherently has changed about their responsibility to produce great and sustainable and maintainable results. All that's changed is how they do it, like the tool that they use to do it. So I think a lot of the barriers are, wow, I've been shipped PRs that are much, much too large that represent multiple intents, like that are not atomic. Because the developer gave an instruction to the agent that was not an atomic thing and wasn't thinking that there was going to be another human being on your do it. You can solve a lot of that by stacking PR. I believe nowadays there's been a UI improvement to GitHub for stacking PRs on top of each other. So that should hopefully be better. I haven't looked at the tool that can do that extra. But so all that said, let's say that you have great developers who are just genuinely shipping a lot more credit, and you just often just don't find any problem in their code. Like there's just nothing wrong. I am of the opinion that you should consider in that circumstance granting certain people the right to commit without review to your codes. if you should note that there are many standards and regulations that require humans to review your code. So please be careful with my recommendation. You would be engaging in a SOC 2 violation if your company is bound or guaranteed by SOC 2. From my understanding. As it's. But I have actually always believed that there should be certain people who are exempt from code review because you trust them. And the level of trust has to be, if that person checked in something bad, they would immediately fix it. And they rarely check in something bad. And when I do code reviews on them, I feel like they're going to the right place. They understand the architectural intent of the code base. They care about quality and consistency. And I trust them sufficiently. They don't have to be perfect. They just have to be people who care enough about improving the quality of the code base over time. Because even with code review, look, the point of code review is not perfection. It's just to make sure that the code base as a whole is getting healthier and healthier over time, and not worse and worse. So it's not like the other thing. I think the other thing about code reviews to learn is, and hopefully you can help have your developers use the agents to help you with this. Look at the parts that are important. There are parts of code that are boring and uninformed, and you don't really care about them. So also make sure that the developer gives you a map. Like if they give you a big PR, give me a map. Tell me where I'm supposed to look first. What am I supposed to look for? What feedback are you looking for from the interview? That can also help too. So I have lots more thoughts, but those are some ones that I can give you.
All right. Thanks a lot, Max. I think you've given us all some great insights and actionable takeaways that we can bring with us tonight. Let's hear it again from Max. See you, Max. All right, next up then we have Bruno and Luis.
Do you want? There's also lapel too. You
Yeah.
can use either one.
Yeah, lapel's good. Yeah.
Lapel's good. Yeah.
I mean,
Okay. Or maybe
yes,
Lewis
I-
can take this. Right?
Yeah, because I already have
You
this one. Yeah,
that
I have that. Yes, yes.
That one is for the YouTube.
I know, but
the other one is for the.
because this one has his.
Bruno is the Brazilian JavaMan, right? Yes, and so Bruno is really great. He's been with you joined Sun Microsystems, right? That was
Yes.
before 1995. So when Java was born, that's when he joined, and so he's been like working with promoting Java, but now not just Java, a lot of things, and also helping career growth too. So his talk is really about you'll be talking about growing your career in the AI age, essentially. So yeah, you're all in for a treat. And did I forget anything else, Bruno? Yeah, and Bruno is also open to accepting like mentoring too. So if you're interested, you can talk to Bruno about his program too. So yeah, okay,
That's
all right. So the
good.
stage is yours. I won't talk for too long. And Louis and Bruno. So thank
Good.
you. Okay.
All right, doing it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If you want to use this.
Thank you, everyone. Can you guys hear me? Is the thing working? Yeah. Hear me in the back? Okay, because I don't hear myself. So I don't know. Yeah. So okay. No, that's good. Right. So yes. All right, guys. So let me just understand who you are a little bit here, right? So thanks, Mary, for the invitation, right? For being here. Thanks, everyone. I've been coming here to the Chicago JavaScript group for many years now, and so good to be here with the AI guys too, right? And so let me understand who you are here, because people told me that there are people that are non-developers here, right? So who is not a developer here? All right, so a bunch of people, right? Okay, so now for the people that are not a developer, you're not a developer because you're a manager. Who's a manager? A few people. Okay, right. So I know I'm not going to try to ask anything, but you're right so close to me. You're not a developer. You are what?
I recruit like AI and machine learning engineers.
Oh, you're a recruiter. Okay, anyone looking for a job? Yes, there's a guy looking for. So that's the guy you have to talk to, not with me, right? Go talk to him, right? You know, problem. I'm not sure that's what you do, but he's looking for a job, right?
Side, so I like to tinker with tools, but I'm not like strong enough to be like an engineer.
Okay, so you do coding. That's good. Yes. Okay, so you're a developer. Yeah, you know, that's good. That's good. You know, it's novice, no problem. So, okay, so now let me understand. It doesn't matter if you're a developer or not, right? So I already know that's how many people are not. Let me ask you about where are you in your career, right? So, who here is just a start? You're still studying. You're not working yet. Anyone's just studying? Okay, a few people studying. That's good, right? You know, when you say more or less what it is. All right, but I mean, you're kind of studying, right? You never work in your life. I don't care. You know, I don't care if it's detective field or not. Have you ever worked in your life? Yeah, of course, multiple jobs. That's the way it is, right? So how many years of career you have in multiple jobs? Yeah. So since you start working, how many years do you have? It doesn't. I don't know what's your age, right? So how many years? 13 years, right? So guys, your career is your career. I don't care if right now you're learning AI, you're learning how to program. It's not. That's not the point. If you have 13 years of career, you have 13 years of career, right? When you come talk to what's your name? John. So when you come talk to John, right? So I'm going to use this as an example because you're a recruiter, right? So when you come talk to John, he does not understand your career. You are the one that had to explain to him, right? So if you're able to explain your whole career as one thing, he's interested in you. But if you don't know, if you can't connect everything you did, then he's not interested in you. Then you're just a beginner. That's your job. You know how to connect things. Okay, make sense? All right. Because let me tell you one thing. When I look at you, you know, I think that you're not out of high school right now, right? And when you come talk to John, he's going to look at you and say, this guy's saying he's a beginner, but he's not out of high school right now. So what happened between high school and now? There's like a black box, right? There's like something, you know, I don't know. I can't see inside, right? You know, I don't understand what it is. And because I don't understand what it is, I can't trust you. Make sense? And so you have to come in and say, look, that's what I did. But in a way that connects with what you want to do right now. Make sense? That's for everyone else that has the same situation. I don't believe in career change. It's your career. Okay? But where I was, you know, you kind of throw me off a little bit here, right? But where I was, right? So who here is studying? Let me ask you this again. Who here is studying? Okay, a few people studying. Who here is, you know, you're just like out of university, for example, you're just kind of have your first job. Who here is like a beginner? 2-3 years of career? 2-3 years of career? Yeah, good. Right, okay. Who here it's not like a mid-level profession, right? So, you know, 3, 5, 6, 7 years of career. Okay, mid-level profession, that's good, right? So who here is a senior profession, right? You know, usually more than 7 to 10, 12 years of career. Okay, lots of people are here. This good senior profession. Who here is a beyond senior professional? Okay, that's good, right? 20 years. Right? Beyond senior, some people raise their hand there. All right, good. Okay. All right, so now I understand a little bit about you, right? So my goal is to help you get to the next level. Whatever level you are right now, I want you to get to the next level. Okay? So I'm going to ask you two questions, and then I'm going to ask Luis to help me here. I'm going to ask you two questions I want you to think about. One is, where do you want to get in your career? Okay? Where do you want to get? What's like your biggest career dream? You know, launch my own company. You know, you don't have to tell me what's your biggest career dream, okay? Because many people are like, oh, I want to be a billionaire, but I can't say that. Right? So you don't have to tell me this. You just think in your head, what is your biggest career dream? If you want to tell me, that's okay. But if you don't want to tell me, that's okay too, right? So you tell me what's the biggest career. You think about your biggest career dream. Now, second question to you. Why don't you have this right now? What's missing? Right? For you just watching us online, what's missing? Right? Why you don't have this right now? Is lack of time. Is, you don't know how to do it. Is, you don't have an investor, right? I don't know. Why you don't have this right now? Do you have this in your heads? Do you know why you don't have this right now? Good. I want to hear that. I don't have a lot of time, so I cannot go to everyone, but I'll try as much as I can. Okay? I want to hear why you're stuck, why you're not achieving what you want. Because I want to help you solve that today. Right? So who wants to go first? Go ahead.
Too old.
Too old. Good. The guy in the back. Too young. Okay. Ashamed of your English skill. I couldn't understand you very well. Everyone understood him? All right. So, okay, ashamed of my English skill. Let me ask you this. What are you doing right now?
I am working on ServiceNow for my company.
ServiceNow for your company. Okay, good. And how many years of career do you have?
35.
35 years career. And you think you're too old. Man, that's the best time of your career.
Well,
Let's talk about
it has.
it. Has been good, right? Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah, exactly. You found what?
I finally know more than this.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying, right? Yeah. He's saying he's finding no more than most people, right? That's what I'm saying. It's amazing, right? I'll talk more about this, right? So who else? I want to influence people. That's very good. And you lack executive presence. Okay, go ahead. So I'm just saying, are you following me here, right? You're trying to. Not very good, by the way, right? Okay, go ahead. Sorry. Do you need a lot of money? Right, but do you need a lot of money? Some of you need. So the thing you're gonna do is not gonna make any money at all? Not enough. All right, it's fair, right? Make more money. No, she said social things, man. She doesn't want to make more money. She wants to make less money, right?
Social things.
Yes, right. So she wants to chase cause independent of money. That's a good way to put it, right? So it's good. So the guy in the back, you're getting coding at 29. Okay, that's okay. So how about you? Time? You don't have time? Yeah. All right, makes sense. How about you? Too many options. Okay, that's good. How about you? Are you doing? Yes. Okay. How about you in the back? Sorry? In the job market? But I was talking to you back there. Oh, because you started a new consulting gig right now, right? Yeah. Right. Okay. Cool. All right. So yes, one more. So if you want to, okay, go ahead. More customers, more clients. Okay. Cool. Yes. All right. So I can always come here and reduce the fonts, right? You want more? No. I'm not gonna do more because Mary's gonna keep me out of here, right? So, all right. Now, let me tell you one thing here, right? I have a friend of mine, Luis, right? Luis, He's awesome on community building, right? He's been helping out big communities all over the world to grow. He's helping JavaMan, one of the largest JavaMan groups in the world, and several other communities. So, Luis, there's anything here? You have one chance to answer one question, right? So, anything here that if it was a community building effort would solve that problem?
Lots of things.
Lots of things. So choose one, because I have to answer the other ones, right? Don't answer all of them, right? Go ahead. Microphone. You need your microphone, man.
Influence people.
Okay, so go ahead. Explain to them how you can influence people by building community.
Okay, through community, you have access to lots of people.
Oh, right. Oh,
right?
Yes, you do, but the camera is right here. The camera is following me. So yes,
okay.
I can leave. Yes. All right, good.
So the
yes.
community is the best place
it's not
for you,
hopefully.
To meet new people, to meet real people, and start building real relationships. So if you know where is your audience, you can be there. You have to be there. So if your audience is here in the AI Collective or in the CJUG, the Chicago Java User Group, you have to be here in person to build these relationships. And then you can start to influence people, because if you start going to the community every day, if you start participating in all the events, maybe you can become a speaker as well. You start writing content, you start helping people out in the community. You become influence them, and you start building your reputation. So if the best place for you to build visibility is in the tech community. Bruno asked me to share something before the meeting starts. That is a concrete thing that happened to me because I was in the community. So last year I got promoted in both my jobs because I'm a software engineer and I'm also a college professor. So because of the things that I've been doing with the community, for example, I gave 23 talks last year. So I became more visible, and people from both my companies, they wanted me to help more inside. And for example, now I'm giving classes in the MBA program. They gave me total autonomy to create a course about AI-driven development because of the things that I've been doing with the AI Collective and the Java community. And they paid me like 3 times more than the money that I've been making with the undergraduate program. So yeah, lots of things can happen to you, and you can help out with other people through influencing. Yeah.
Good.
So
you've been helping communities. Do you have can you help people more of communities?
Yes, because of these results that I've been having, I want to give back to the community. So I grabbed some tips, some actions, because if you don't take action, nothing changes. So I've been grabbing specific actions that I took, and I created an ebook to give to you as a gift. So, okay, if you go here, you have a QR code. Yes. If you access here, you can have access to my, actually, you register here and you receive an email from me with a link to download the free ebook. And by having my email, you can reply to me and I can help you out. Send me your questions and I'll be very glad to help you. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Good. All right. Okay, very good. Yeah, anyone else want this book? So that's a book that he wrote on how to get a lot of the things that, as he said, a lot of things that was there, you can solve by building communities, right? So if you want to learn how to build communities, that's what this book is all about, right? Okay, cool. So let me get back to the questions then, right? And so let me see if I can answer some of those questions. And I'll start with influence people because that's the one that he chose, right? So influencing people is helping people to take action, right? So right now, for example, several of you took action and took a picture and are going to download his book. So he was able to influence you. Not everyone, because not everyone wants his book, right? That's okay, but you're able to influence you, right? So that's what influencing is, right? So for you to influence people, you have to talk, you have to be visible, you have to reach them out, you have to come here, or it could be an article, could be social media, could be other ways, could be YouTube, right? But people have to know who you are, they have to see you, they have to talk with you, otherwise they don't get influenced by you. Make sense? So that's very important. So having that ability to share your knowledge, to talk to people, to help them take action, that's going to be amazing, right? And because I'm going to start with that, right? But because of that, what are the things that that's sharing will help, right? So for example, let me get coding at 20, start coding at 29. I'm too young, right? And my friend here that has just had his too old, and struggling with the job market. Let's look at those three things here, right? Those are things that are resolved by a very simple thing. If I want you, I don't care about any of those things, right? Is that true? If I want you, if I trust you, the previous speaker was talking about trust when you submit a code. He said there are certain developers that don't require code review. Think about this a minute. You have a process inside your company, and you review every single code, and then for you, I don't review your code. Why? Because I trust you. So when I trust you, there are no rules. It's very important to understand that when I trust you, there are no rules. There was a Peruvian general that he used to say, to my friends, everything. To my enemies, the law. Right? So I'm not going to do anything bad against you, but if you're my enemy, I'm just going to apply the process. Oh, you submit a resume and there's no English in your resume. I'm sorry, you are out. Oh, you submit a resume and you're too old. You're out. Now, if I want you, none of this is a problem. If I want you, I don't care about your English. I have a friend of mine that he was hired by one of the biggest, the most important companies in the software development world, right? And they called him and they said, we're going to hire you because we trust you already. And he said, I cannot work for you because I don't have English. You know what they said? That's not a problem. We're going to send our English teacher in your house every single day, and that's okay. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine you saying for a job, for like an AI job, I don't know AI, or a Java job, I don't know Java, and they say, I don't care, I'm going to hire you anyway? That's trust. If I trust you, there's no process, right? So if I want you, I don't care you're too old, I don't care you're too young, I don't care if the market is complicated, because I want you. Make sense? Now, how do I want? So you're not even. Come on, I think you're helping me out. Get out. Influence people. Coding at 29, right? Too old. I can influence people. We're not answer that, right? Struggling the job market. So I'm going to answer those here. Okay, good. All right. So if I want you, you see, I don't want him. I want him away, right? But if I want him, come on, come with me, right? So we're traveling. Oh, we don't have the map here, right? But come here with me. I'm traveling I'm going around the U.S. really, because I did Atlanta and then New York, New Jersey, Philly, and then I'm doing Chicago, and then I go to San Francisco and Seattle, and then Houston, and then I do North Carolina, Jacksonville, Orlando. I'm going around the U.S., right? Yes, right? So it's 11 Java groups, giving talks out all those places. And if I want him, I'll bring him along and say, I want you to come with me, right? Because I trust you. But if I don't trust you, I don't want you around with me. That's how life is, guys. If I trust you, I want you around. Am I right? You know, he's a recruiter, right? And that's what he wants. He wants people he can trust. So you have to build that trust. And that's how influencing people is so important. Because once you're visible, once people know you, then they trust you, right? If they don't know you, they don't trust you. Oh, I'm going to do one thing here. I left my little bag with all the reputation formula. So Luis is going to pass around. He's going to give you guys my best strategy to build trust, right? It's called the reputation formula. Okay? So the reputation formula are 7 things you need to increase your reputation, and 3 things you need to decrease to increase your reputation. Right? So Luis, it's like a black. Oh, it's right here. You see, I don't trust him. I send him away, right? Okay. So sorry about that. So that's the reputation formula, right? So the reputation formula, it's a sticker. It's perfect to put on your laptop right here. It looks very good, but it's the same size as your cell phone, right? So it works great in your cell phone, so you never forget. 7 things you need to increase your reputation. 3 things you need to increase your reputation, right? So Luis is gonna pass around, and so let me do this. How about I help you out here? So how about you get one and pass, right? I think that's easier. Yes. All right. Okay. So that's when we talk about influencing people, right? That's what you need, right? You need reputation. You need trust. Reputation is what people think about you. So my friend is 29 years old over there. When he said beginning, I'm just a beginner. So that's what I think about him. That's his reputation as a beginner. But if he builds his reputation, I have 13 years of career. I've done many things. I'm good at something, right? My friend here said, I'm too old. That's what everyone here thinks about him. I'm too old, because that's what we think about him. But what he said before, after that, he said, I know more than everyone else. So now we forgot that he's too old. We're all thinking, oh man, this is the guy that knows everything. Reputation, guys, is what people think about you, and you're able to influence your reputation. Okay? So, all right. So let's talk about things here. Oh, you should not be ashamed of your English skill, man. It's crazy, right? I know people. I work with a lot of developers. I work more with people who have over 15 years of career. That's the people I work with, right? And there's a lot of amazing developers with over 15 years of career that they have a much worse English than you have, and they don't care. Right? So it's not about your English. Don't be ashamed of it. Go speak English. The more you speak, the better you become. Okay? All right. So let me talk about some things here, right? I want to talk about the do social things, right? Because I love that you're trying to do this. I love that. But let me tell you a secret. Anything that you do, you could do it for free. For everyone. You could. That's no problem, right? But if you're able to find, what happened? Oh, Mary took my presentation away. Right? But let me tell you this. If you find a small group of people willing to pay, that small group of people can pay for it to give free for everyone else. Right? So here's how I think the best way to do social things. Find something that a few people want from you, sell that to them, make enough money with a few people, and then you spend all your time to help whoever you want. Okay? I'll give you an example. 100% of my content is free. It's online, it's on presentations. I don't hide anything. You come to a presentation like this, you ask me questions, I'll give you all the answers. Right? 100% of my content is free. But there's a very small group of people that says, that's not enough. I want more. I want to travel with you around the world. I want to, I want more things. And that small group of people allow me to help everyone for free. Make sense? You can do that too. Okay? just think of, I'm sure you can think about how to do that. Right? Okay, so do social things. Right, okay, good. So now let me kind of go, how long I have? Minus 30 minutes? 5 more minutes? 10 more minutes. Okay, so too many options. That's good. You have too many options, so that's good. It's not a bad thing. People are afraid of having focus because focus means that you have FOMO. FOMO is the fear of missing out, right? So there's too many things, but here's the secret. When you focus on something, you can do everything. What do I mean by that? Let's say she has a focus. So can you say a little bit about your social thing, what it is? Okay, health data. That's not free stuff. Right? So you don't need to be social. I mean, people that pay therapists, they pay lots of money for the therapist, right? But that's okay. But so she wants to do health, right? Because she has a focus, health, she can do anything. She can learn AI. She can learn Java. She can learn, software development. She can learn, how to give talks. She can learn, how to be an executive. She can learn everything she wants because she has a focus. It's crazy that we think that focus means I'm going to miss everything out. No, when we have a focus, that's when we can do the things. So just choose one, man. It doesn't matter. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Just choose one thing. Okay. What else? More customers. I love that one because everyone needs more customers, right? And there's a lack of executive presence, right? So more customers. Do you want more customers? You want to be a trust advisor. Be a trustworthy advisor. Someone that I want to hear. Customers are not looking for applications. They're not looking for online stuff. They're looking for relationship. Right? So figure out what is things that you can do for others that builds trust with them so you can be the person they call when they need you. I love a sentence in 5. There's like a big sentence in 5 sentences here that can change your life. Okay? If, there's always an if there, right? So if you share what you know, other people know what you know, and they trust you in what you know. You become their trusted advisor. And when they need what you know, they call you and not someone else. That's what you need, man. If everyone around you knows that you know lots of people, lots of things, they call you and not him. And when you get the phone call, you get the customer. Right? Everyone is kind of chasing the customers. Don't chase the customers. Bring the customers to you. Let them chase you. Be a trusted advisor for them before they need you. If you're the one that guided them before they need you, the moment they need you, they're not going to think about anyone else. Okay? As customers. And then now, it's important. Because your audience has to see you the way they need to see you. If you're talking to a group of developers, I'm here with funny shoes and jeans and t-shirts, right? Because I'm talking to a bunch of developers. Now, what if everyone here was an executive with coat and tie, all of that, and I walk here with funny shoes? You'd be like, what is this guy? Oh, he came to fix the computer, right? I'm not going to pay attention. So you have to play the parts. You have to understand who your customer is, what they're expecting from you, right? And how you should behave to get trust from that audience. Right? Now you have to understand. So, my audience is people that have health problems and have therapists. That's my audience. So what they're worried about? How they should look at me. If you are someone that that shows up the wrong way, they don't care about you. That's why the executive presence is this. You have to understand who the executive. Look, at some point in the past, the guy is, he's my partner, right? So my partner said, Bruno, you should be the one that's going to be the country manager. I don't know, like the president of the company. And I said, I don't want to do that, but I want you to do this, man. That's important, right? So, everyone knows you. You have a good network. You should be the guy. And I told him, I said, okay, if I do that, I'm going to bankrupt the company. I told him that. Do you know why? Because we work with some of the largest banks in Brazil, right? And the guy that we hired to do that position, that's my boss now. I hired my own boss, right? The guy that hired, he goes out to have dinners with top executives. I don't want to do that. He goes out and play golf with top executives. I don't want to do that. He goes smoke cigars and drink whiskey. I don't want to do that. I want to be here with you, eating pizza and going to the bar late at night. So I don't want to be in an audience I'm not interested in. And so that's the same thing. Choose your audience, choose your customers, people that you want to be around. Otherwise, you're going to be unhappy your whole life. Make sense? And get them to come to you, right? Okay, last thing. I don't have time. No one has. Time is not something that you have or you don't have. Time is about priorities. You choose what's important for you and you put time to do what's important for you. And then you stop doing what's not important for you. That's how you manage time. Okay? Now, you know what? Everyone knows that. That's not a secret. Everyone knows that. You know what people don't know? What's important for them. They never stop to think about what's important for me, right? And so if you don't know what's important for you, how can you put time on what's important? That's why in the beginning of this here, I asked you, what is your biggest career goal? So now you know what's important for you. And now you know what's preventing you from doing this. So now you can fix that things. Make sense? All right, so one last thing here. So I'm going to get out of here before Mary kicks me out. Okay, everyone got their reputation formula? Yeah, good. So if you don't understand what's in there, come talk to me, right? Now, how can you talk to me? You have no idea, right? Because you don't even know my name, right? If I ask you my name, you probably don't know, right? So I'm going to give you a gift. That the importance of this gift is that it's going to allow you to talk to me. So I wrote a book called The Developer Career Master Plan. And I'm not trying to sell this book here, right? So I make nothing if you buy it or not. So I don't care, right? But I cannot give the book for you for free because it's not my book. It's a book from Pact Publishing, right? So I did something for you. That's the thing. I got Pact to allow me to give you the first chapter for free. So if you come to this QR code, you're going to get the first chapter for free. It's the chapter about learning. I'm going to teach you how to learn. Now, the second thing that I did is that I wrote 15 articles, one for each chapter of the book. So if you come here and you download my book, you're going to get 15 chapters. Not 15 chapters. You're going to get one chapter and 15 articles. And that's not the best part of the book, right? So you don't have to buy the book. Now, there's two things going to happen if you download this book. One, you're going to get an email from me with the book. It's a good thing, right? The second thing is going to happen is you're going to get an email from me with the book. So if you need help, you just reply to the email and say, Bruno, I need more help. Okay? And I'll respond to you because, as I said, everything I do is free. Right? So you can just reply to me and help out. Okay? Make sense? All right. So for the developers here, that's probably not going to be very useful for the non-developers. Right? But for the developers, if you want to grow beyond senior, especially the developers that are senior, right? So if you want to grow beyond senior, I know it's hard. So I did a course for my mentees about growing beyond senior. And I'm going to give you guys that course. I never sold that to anyone. I just gave to my mentees. but I'm going to give you my course, Grow Beyond Senior. So if you're a developer, that's for you, okay? If you're not a developer and you want to get that, that's okay too. So let me give you here. Okay, it's not a title. That's not what I want. How do I do this? Here. Okay, so the URL is https jav.mn/grow-CJUG. Okay, so that's the QR code here. And all right, so let me make it here. So if someone can tell me that you work it or not, you should get to this page right here, right? That gets you a special offer, right? Oops, sorry. So did it work? Yes? Okay, good. So now that's a course on how to grow beyond senior. Okay? You know, if you're a non-developer and you want to try to understand that course, that's okay. There's no technology in it. It's just the mentality of growing beyond senior. So if you want to have that, that's here. All right? Now, I just want to finish with the two old guy here in the front. So sorry, what's your name?
My name is Tom.
Tom. Hey, Tom.
Yes.
Very nice to see you, man. So here's about, the old thing, right? Java is 30 years old right now. Okay? So Java was released. And last year, James Gosling, the guy that created Java, right? He retired. He retired with 6 years, I think, or 8 years old. So James Gosling created Java when he was almost 50, 40 something. That's when he created Java. So James Gosling lived the best times of his career after 50. So you're not too old, man. Seriously. You have the experience. But here's the problem. Companies don't necessarily value that. And so at some point in your career, I'm going to say this for everyone here, at some point in your career, you're going to have to make a decision, and that's probably going to be to be independent. The more independent you can be, the better it's going to be. All right? So sorry, Mary, that I completely destroyed the time here. If you guys need any more help, I'll be outside. One last thing for Mary, because Mary's amazing. And for the guys, so Mary really helps me a lot. So if there's anyone here in this group here that has over 15 years of career and you need more help, I'll give you something that I only give to my customers. I'm going to have a one-on-one conversation with you so I can understand your problem you're going through and make a plan for you. So if that's you, right, come see me outside, and I'll give you a QR code so you can join, you can get my agenda and schedule a call for me. You have to have more than 15 years of career. It's better if you're a developer, but not necessary, right? Because those are the people I can help more, right? So if you need help, come see me outside. Okay? Thanks so much, guys. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Is it good?
Good. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Did,
Okay.
did you stretch too much of time?
No.
No? It's
Don't
not good?
worry.
I'm
Yeah,
sure?
but-
I think I used to.
Right.
I don't
Here, Luis.
Now we'll have Ankith here to
Yeah.
talk about MCP. So thank you. So we have one more talk by Ankith.
Come here?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you doing this? I'll put this
I
here for
need
you.
Can I get this connected?
No. Well, okay. So
Need the
when
presenter.
you share, it's already there. When you share.
Okay.
So yeah. So then when you switch, it will be reflected in there too. You're already on the Zoom, so you're all set.
No, the problem is like
No,
I don't
sorry.
have the presenter view, right?
What is it?
I don't get the presenter view, so I have to close this.
Oh. Well, yeah. Okay, this is for you. You may want to use that. You want to clip it for your in your pocket or something. He said he can't see it, but
The presenter view, yeah. If I can get this, I can connect it.
yeah, that's right.
Can I connect this? Because it's enough.
Yeah.
The cable. The cable is there, right? It's fine. Let's see. If I start, you can put in the cable, it was nice because I cannot see the present results.
The reception, I don't know
reception
where,
is sitting.
where
She's sitting.
Yeah, okay. Just you will just need the HDMI.
HDMI. Yeah. Hello. Yeah. Hi. So yeah, thank you for your patience. I think a lot of amazing talks. So this is Ankith Jain. I'm an engineer at Capital One. Been developing enterprise applications 10 plus years at large scale. Follow the sun method. So is it audible now? More? Okay, because I'm hearing my own echo. So yeah, let me know if this is good. No? Maybe I will take a mic. Sorry?
To use my one that I have right now,
Yeah.
because you can only
Okay.
use one. So. Okay, just need to grab the HDMI for him. So he doesn't want to do it on Zoom, so I do. Okay. Okay, so
I do not have much. Was the earlier one, right? You had a earlier one in the morning. Hello, hello. What is doing? Or 200?
yeah.
Okay. You need this? Or it's fine. Is this audible now? Okay, thank you. Mary, the display. Thanks.
Switch this to
If you have laptop, you can follow my presentation. And if you want to build along with me, that would be nice. All good? Thanks. So again, this is Ankith. Thanks for your patience. Today I'll be talking about a topic, how do you build AI apps with MCP, which is Model Context Protocol, and using Spring AI. There are many other frameworks to build AI applications. I'm choosing Spring AI, and I'll come why I chose Spring AI and why not. So again, I'm engineer at Capital One. So briefly, the agenda, what I'm going to cover is I'm going to just cover a few basic Gen AI concepts. I'm sure you're all are already experts after hearing those speakers. So you might be knowing a lot of Gen AI. But again, some intro about Spring AI. And if you have not started developing or bringing local models on your machine, uh, I can show you how you can use Olama. Then you can bring local models on your own machine rather than paying, putting your credit card and trying to play around models among the commercial providers. So that's something from open source you can bring models. And why do you need tool calling? And then what exactly made MCP to come in existence and why, how it helps to build tools, better tools and resources. And then a small demo of how do you build an MCP server. And then we'll connect it to Claude so that you can chat around it. That being said, models. There are varieties of models based on the use cases. There are large language models. There are image models. Based on your use cases, you can pick any of your models to do your AI engineering and everything. Water prompts. You are giving your text input to a chat GPT or any AI application. So that's where you are giving your human language, natural language. Those are prompts. Tokens. These models have to convert your words into tokens and then process the information and then convert back those tokens and then convert back to like utilize and generate more context from the tokens and then convert back to human language. That's where the tokens is. But tokens is the currency. You spend tokens, that's how you have been charged. Embeddings. What are embeddings? It's a numerical representations of your data so that you can make it to vectors and then you can store it to vector databases, and then you can do a lot of semantic searches and everything and add more context to your model so that it less hallucinates and give you more contextual information about yourself. That's where RAG comes in picture. Let's say you work for XYZ company. Every company has a different vacation policy, right? If you go to large language model and today ask how many vacations do I have, it's not going to know. It's not going to know where do you work. It's not going to know what's your company policies. How do I make it better? RAG will help you. That's where the embeddings concept I talked and RAG. And if you want to know more detail about RAG, we did October meetup and I went through a very detailed presentation on RAG. And if anyone from the past presentation is still hearing me a second time, I'm saying hi. Tool calling, I'll discuss once in detail in the next steps. Again, I'm sure there are varieties of developers who know Python, who are from Go, who knows Java. Why did I pick Spring AI? Being an enterprise level application as a developer or designed applications through so far, I have utilized Java to a very extensive level to build enterprise applications at a very large scale. Now, how do I enable this into AI engineering? Spring AI bridges that gap. As this is my day to day, where I am developing microservices, where I'm developing APIs around the enterprise level, but how do I bring generative AI into my existing Java applications? This is the problem Spring AI is solving. It can glue the AI and your existing application through a framework called Spring AI. And this is majorly inspired by Python-based frameworks. So it's just not, again, but it's independent on its own. But it has taken a lot of inspiration from the Python-based frameworks. What exactly it offers? It offers a lot. It gives you flexibility to connect through the variety of model providers. It gives you flexibility to choose around vector stores based on your use cases. Chat model, I was talking about varieties of models. It does gives you flexibility to connect around those models using this framework. Today, we're going to discuss about model context protocols, so I'll be touching more about it. But overall, this has a lot of capabilities, and this is growing at a good speed to catch up with AI engineering. And I was talking about Olama. If you have, or if you are looking to get started with playing around models, you can go to olama.com and download your model of your choice. If you are doing something with imaging, you can download a particular model, understand what it is. It would be like a very less space consuming. So I'm telling you, you don't need like GPUs and like so many high things. But again, these model sizes will be 3 gigs or 4 gigs. So you can see around those models, and I'll quickly show during my demos how you can really bring a model locally and you can interact for free. And I was talking about tool calling, right? What exactly makes tool calling so appealing? So I have, this is Olam. Okay. Stop my presentation. So I was playing around Olama, you see, as long like 6 months or 5 months back. And recently I was playing around with one of the Llama model. So I asked Olama run Llama. So it is running the model. I just asked, hi, I am Ankith Jain, and who am I? What's my name? And then I was also asking, let me ask again, what is, so this guy says, I'm a large language model. I do not have ability to know the current date and time. It has been trained at certain date and doesn't know what is happening today. If you ask what is the price of XYZ stock, it doesn't know. It knows that it's been a smart brain. Consider this is a brain with less access on real-time data. How do I enable this? If I'm developing an AI engineering application, how do I enable this to get into more context and everything, right? That's where tool calling comes in picture. Now I know I have a very smart brain. How do I enable it? You can use Spring AI framework. Again, sure, every framework has this capability. So you can define a tool which needs a good name, description, and the schema. So once someone is making a request, what I was making a request, it says, I don't know the today's date because I'm trained on certain things. This will go to the AI model. Now your application knows I can get the tool because I have that access. I have defined the tool in my application, could get the tool information, get the data, and now my model is smart enough to put the context in the right way and get me the chat response. This enables your application to be more smarter and more real time with a good brain. Okay, this is a very hot topic, right? Model context protocol. You might be hearing that this is USB-C port for AI application. This is a very common phrase utilized across model context protocol. You're going to hear a lot of people telling this. Let's unbox this and understand why and how does it make sense and why does it qualify to be on USB-C port. USB-C port, my laptop is now connected to this monitor. My laptop could connect to my home TV. That means I am writing once and integrate many times. How? We saw generative AI, which is good in getting in text, getting it out. I asked, hi, this is Ankith Jain. And then again, I asked in my Llama model, who am I? It was able to say, I'm Ankith Jain. That means it is able to get the text in, text out. Good. Let's go to the second step. I asked today's date. It was not capable of getting today's date because it's trained on certain date. Now I showed we should write a tool, right? I wrote a tool. Now if I ask the same question, it is smart because it has access to the tool and get the information. So it can provide today's date with the tool. What if I can write tool once in any language, because my strength is Java, your strength is Python, someone's strength is maybe Go or TypeScript. What if I say everybody can join as Avengers and we can solve this problem? Right? This would really make sense. That's where model context protocol comes in picture. Now you can have one thing and then you can see a lot of tools are there on the right side. If I would have done this in the API world, right? Most of them are writing APIs, still writing APIs. Then I have to write custom integration for the tool, or I have to write series of actions to be called for various APIs, and every other team is writing and integrating the code of writing the same APIs. But this solves major problems where it says a USB-C port. Let's get into more detail. I said build once, integrate many times. Instead of you have to do m cross n or something like that, so that everybody is integrating the same thing. Not needed. Everybody is talking on a same protocol, which is model context protocol. Let's understand with one simple application, AI, like your AI host. Let's take Claude or your GitHub Copilot or anything, right? Those are AI applications here. Now this is a bidirectional flow which can get access to your informations about your databases, files, and all those things via a standard protocol. Doesn't matter which language I'm choosing to write the tool. You can write tool in variety. You can be a language agnostic, produce a tool, use MCP, and then connect to any AI application. That's the powerful way of connecting today with MCP. I'm telling so much what exactly it entails. Let's see, and how does the transport works. Now, remember these three things: tools, resources, and prompts. These are the three fundamental blocks on MCP server. Why? whatever I said showing a tool could be utilized in an MCP server as tools. And now you can try to connect with one given MCP server with your AI host with MCP client, and then do a client server talk. Resources could be of files and all those things, and prompts, predefined templates could be stored. But majority of work I have seen, like and today's example is about building a tool. Standard IO and HTTP SSE. What is this? This is the transport where you can have the client server communication. Today I've picked a standard IO because my client and the server is on my same machine. If it is enterprise level and if it's a remote connection you want to make, you can use HTTP to connect from client to server, and server can send sent events, and then a communication could be established if you want to connect to a remote MCP server. Again, a simple architecture is your host, could be your AI applications. That host could have multiple MCP clients, and that one of each MCP client could connect to establish a connection, then communicate across JSON RPC 2.0 or kind of format across client and server with a dedicated connection. So now you see it is kind of based on your use case, you can produce your tool. Okay. So now let's see how you can build this, right? So I was talking about Spring AI, and if you want to get started, you can come to this blog. But I have written some code, and majorly what I did is I brought two dependencies, MCP server, because there is a Java SDK, there is different SDKs based on your language. I picked Java, and I'll show you. If you're a Python developer, don't feel how do I get started. I'll give you a wiki link where you can build this similar MCP servers. But this is just one example where I understand the language most. So if you see, I have MCP server, nothing much on the dependency side. And then I have defined my MCP server. I have given the configurations, and I have told to be standard IO. Yes, standard IO is true. Now, I was talking, you have to define a tool, right? How does this get to know? So I have defined two tools. Let's say this API is a smart transactions analyzing API or a transaction log monitor API. Everybody swiping his credit card, but I want to analyze my team is asking me, can you give me list of approved and declined transactions of today's data based on utilizing an API? How would I do it in a normal way? I would call an API and then get the list of approved and declined transactions. But how can I make it more smarter so that my product manager can make better decisions by just exposing an API as a tool? Your APIs could be exposed as tools, and then now could be connected to your favorite Claude or anything, so that it can be more utilized to make more analysis. I was talking, a tool should be defined with better name and description, so that once your MCP client connects, it knows these are my tools. And those decisions, once the MCP client has been provided with the tools, LLM makes a decision which tool to call. So now that means I have to give more context to my LLM so that it can make the right decision to call the right tool. That's where it comes in picture. Let's say I don't want to give any description. It will pick the by default method name. So write a good method name at least. So I have defined this tool, and then I have enabled that bean so that this entire application is now converted as an MCP server. And what I did is I built a jar and then put it in a location where this could be connected to Claude. So I showed you how do you build an MCP server with simple configurations. You have built your MCP server, and you can use these applications, which could be acting as an AI application, and also could as a host and also could have MCP clients. And now let me know how, let us see how do we connect this, right? So now if you see, I have my MCP server, which is AI MCP server demo, and I have connected to this cloud. So if you see now, I showed the tools name, same tools name are here, get approved, get declined transactions, and I have told to ask me approvals before even calling those tools. So now let's change the gear. I did my development, and now my product manager hat is coming in and now querying this to get the list of transactions. So it is searching available tools. It got one of the tool which is approved decline transactions. And now it is asking me, Claude wants to use get approved transactions from Spring AI Server demo. So I'm telling you, I'll give you permission once. Okay. It needs tool to the access to another one. Because think, these are all decisions are made at LLM level, which tool to call. Because MCP client did job, it connected to the MCP server, brought all the list of MCP tools, and now your LLM is making those decisions. Hopefully it gives, okay? So I have loaded these transactions as a dummy data. It's not nothing of your personal data, it's all dummy data. But this is giving a lot of sense of the data as a product or a non-technical person. And then I can see these are the list of transactions. Now I was asking build an executive summary for this transactions. So it is checking the skills. It's going to take some time, but it's going to prepare a beautiful report. So in short, what I'm trying to say is you can build an MCP server. You can connect to the MCP client. MCP client knows what are the list of tools it has, tools, resources, and prompts. And your AI application could act as an AI host and connect to all those things. And whatever LLM you are choosing will make those decisions to call which tool and then provide you more context towards the LLM. So that's the entire flow, how things are working. So it's writing a lot of code. At the end, it will generate a report. And I was also playing with it, and I could have shared a link to someone. But again, in the enterprise context, you have to make sure everything is secure, reliable, all those things. But again, on a development at a very low level, I'm trying to show MCP has these capabilities so that your all AI application, can this be an MCP server? Think and discuss, and let's see what could be the future. Until my cloud does it. So I was trying to give you, like, I was taking a screenshot when this was happening in my, like, you can see this 4 p.m. I was just trying to play around to give you the sequence of things. So my MCP server started and did a handshake, and it got tools.list, tools prompts and everything, and it got exposure to all those things. Now it listed I have approved transaction, declined transactions, and I have written nothing on prompts and resources. So this is how at the start is my MCP client is aware with all those client server communication. Did Claude prepare the report? Okay. So let's see. So I can download this. This is a cool report, right? Thanks. Yeah, I have some. So now I feel very confident in like kind of trying it out. But what if I'm not a Java developer? I need to know more, right? So if you go to Model Context Protocol website, I'll show you a wiki to follow where you can build an MCP server. Basically, you can pick your choice, like your Python, TypeScript, pick your choice of language. And then this wiki will help you to connect to a weather API. And then you can build follow the same steps what I said in your preferred choice of language, and then connect to cloud. So that whatever I showed you today, you'll be able to do it following this wiki. And this is Model Context Protocol. And I think I should have shared you more history. What happened in November 2024, this was launched by Anthropic. So this context protocol just came in existence in few years, and it has catched a lot of traction on how do you develop AI applications. With that being said, if you liked, I'm open for questions. And I would like to invite John and Mariano to again come on stage or answer the questions if they want. Yeah, go ahead.
So you're presenting tools you had get denied and approved transactions. Can you walk me through like a good reducibility of the tool is? Why don't you just do like why don't you do like get all transactions or just get transactions and allow the LLM itself to do post filtering? Why did you do like rejected versus approved? Is that best practice?
This is just an example.
Sure. Yeah, I guess if we extrapolate that question.
If you ask LLM to give all the transactions,
Right.
It is smart enough to get you all the transactions. It will call both the tools, combine the results, and give you a list of transactions. Maybe I think if you see the earlier part of the demo, it is doing it.
Right. The reason I ask is how generic should we make tools versus how specific?
See, everybody loves to make the money in. I would love to see where am I failing with transactions, right? So this is kind of as a product manager, for me, the use case would be I want to see where exactly things are not going right.
So if you were to create the cool get to yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
So the answer with that is it's going to cost you more money with tokens, right? Because if you say give me approved transactions, it's going to have to pass all the transactions to LLM and then filter them out, right? Versus it's what is your use case? What are the possibilities? And making sure that you can minimize the amount of tokens that you have to pass to LLM, right?
That's great.
Yeah, because everything comes into context. Everything is tokens now. Yeah, you have a question.
So hey, this is Alex Lino from Covert Security, and I shared the open source with MCP C++ implementation, and we focus on observability, security, and connectivity. So from like enterprise perspective, you mentioned about security, but from an enterprise perspective, what do you feel like those missing gaps, like what's slowing down enterprise adoption from your perspective? Like what's the most critical thing that enterprises need to really hyper focus on so MCP is adopted enterprise wide?
Again, there are frameworks which is supporting Spring Security has certain things where you can use OAuth and you can use tokens whenever you are connecting to the MCP servers, so that whatever I showed is what a small demo, but again, whatever we do in the enterprise level, we have to think, is it secure? Is it passing the right data? Is it not passing any PI information? So I think you should have a very broader lens anywhere from the infrastructure side and whatever you are providing. But this was at a very low level. How do you just get started with developing AI application? But that's a good question. Again, anything you roll out at that scale has to be looked at more lenses.
In terms, I know you gave it permission in one use case. What are the risks of like over, permissions in regards to getting it in the wild in regards to somebody else using that same MCP? Does it slow it down? Does it make it that much harder? I know in the use case you said approve permission only once. Let's say, for instance, it's being used by multiple people. How do you then get the stage gate to say, this is the person who can, this is what the agent can do in this step.
So if I ask your question, I have a list of tools, but how do I limit the access of tools based on the users, right? So I think you can authorize certain access. Let's say you are an admin, you have more access. I think similarly, if you can follow the roles based, who can have all the tools access. But again, write the tools in a smarter way, and then you are going to expose it. But those decisions are made at LLM level to which tools to be used. So I know you can expose so many tools, but again, you have to expose tools which are really making sense rather than writing tools for everything. What if I'm writing a tool to make a flight booking? Then I have to be very cautious. What are the things going and everything? So maybe, yeah, we have to look at the authorizations and authentication methodologies where I can limit access for everyone, what they are using based on their roles. I think I'm good. Thanks, Mariano and John, for supporting everything and Megan.
Thank you, Ankith. And thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight. We can stay a bit longer. However, I think I was told Mariano said we do need to start wrapping up because the Capital One, they do need us to be out. And do you know what time? Like 8:30 or 8:30-ish? Yeah, so a little over is okay. But thank you again. And we can also move downstairs to the lobby area to continue our conversations too, if you like. So thank you again. And please stay tuned. And I was going to say we have raffles for JetBrains. If anybody's interested, go to Discord server. I can kind of send, you can send me my name or something. I have a form. You can register and we can run a raffle, online raffle for it too, if you're interested. So thank you. Thank you. Okay, take care. Yeah.